I just said joined by Dash, but we're joined by Dash
Talking
and
in
Dave.
the third person. That's so
person.
weird.
The way you feel.
What's going on, guys? Happy Saturday evening, Mother's Day evening for the folks around the world that do celebrate it. So if you're not here and you're getting your mom a last minute present, shame on you. But at the same time, I totally get it. Today is going to be a fun call-in / Cremonese pregame because Dave is busy. Dave has to take care of some business and sends his regards. And he sent Misak as his substitute, our favorite Discord shenanigan buddy, our favorite meme poster and expert next to Rabio's Boo Boo. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Rabio's Boo Boo is healing slowly and surely, so he will be available tomorrow. I'm doing better. I'm doing a lot better. How about you?
I'm a little bit more cooled off compared to my good 45-minute rant that I went on Thursday. I don't think I've ever been mad at a game like that one before. That was I kind of was just like, I am unleashing the beast on this one. But anyways, folks, you guys know the drill. You know how it works. We're going to talk some Cremonese, some news. Well, we're going to talk news first, then Cremonese. And then after the Cremonese, I will throw down the StreamYard link so you can hop in. And the guy that called me an Allegri stan, I hope you're here.
Join us.
I hope you're here because I got the link for you. But we're going to talk some news. The first article I'm going to bring up this topic while people are coming over is the Guntoli talk. Guntoli, apparently, allegedly, by Giovanni Albanese, is meeting with De Laurentiis today, to get a release from his contract because at the end of the season, he would still have one more year. And it looks like we actually beat out Liverpool for Guntoli. Liverpool wanted Guntoli, but Juve came in and said, nope, you can't have that. He's ours. So also Guntoli has picked Juve over Liverpool. So it's a W for us and an L for the Premier League. However,
and Manchester United too. They were wanting him too.
That's true as well. However,
double win.
This is where I think some people are going to lose their shit. Guntoli has said that he is willing to start with Allegri as his coach as well. That is also from Giovanni Albanese as well. So interesting, huh? To the Allegri fans and everybody itself. And Dave is here in spirit saying, "I like your background."
Yeah, see. Oh, this you see here. It's just Rabio's cat. Okay, it wasn't during the game at all. It was the cat. That's why the referee didn't give anything for it.
So I'm going to ask you. So Guntoli saying that he wants to run the project with Allegri. Do you support it, or are you 100% against it?
I'm not. I understand if he wants to do it. You know why? Because he wants a year of transition. Him first laying out what he wants from the squad to take the piece. As we see, we discussed before how many players we have to remove from the team and players to go on, and we know that a lot of players are gonna leave in 2024, and a lot of them are on high wages. I understand you want to keep Allegri just one more year, do top 4, get the money, okay? Do what you want, I'll bring you the players, but 1 year of this, and the next year we start the plan. Same thing happened with Pepe Marotta in about 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago. Welcome, people, to the live show.
Yeah, AKF squad is here. Bogdan is tuning in as well. Hello.
Fino alla fine, always.
So, kind of going back to this again. So, it's interesting because our good friend Momblano, as we like to joke around about it, is saying Guntoli to Juventus is 100% imminent. It's just a matter of formalities that are getting essentially sorted out because, again, meeting with De Laurentiis to get himself freed from his contract. So, they're working on that. He said also, which was interesting, was Tom26R says, finally here. he can finally watch a call-in show. Wow, finished work late early. Who knows, Tom? Maybe I'll give you the link so you can hop in, buddy. KF says, Misak, the background is Allegri approved. Yes.
I hope
it
it's
is.
Schäferin approved too, because he's screwing us.
Literally. Dave is asking for KF. Where have you been? KF has been trapped in his refrigerator eating chicken. That is where KF has been. The
Like,
reason why he hasn't been on a live stream lately. But kind of going back to it, so Momblano is saying this, which I thought was interesting, and he said Vlahovic with Guntoli is at Juve at 94%. That is very interesting, to me at least, because I'm surprised Guntoli wouldn't cash in on him. Because is Vlahovic a Guntoli player, system-wide?
look, he uses Guntoli always builds with a traditional number 9 in his team. He doesn't mess around with it. Only with Sari for one season only he was playing with the Mertens, Insigne. I forgot the third guy. That's like the 3 midgets up front that they scored a lot of goals with.
Oh, Callejon.
Once. Yeah, Callejon. Like 3 midgets. Okay, he used that once over the 8 years, but usually then they got Milik. If you remember, the next following summer they got Milik. Then he had some injuries and stuff. Got Petagna. So basically, he always builds a team with a traditional number 9. So Vlahovic staying, I kinda get it, but then we have to move one of our strikers, because we cannot have 3 strikers for 2 positions. Either we're gonna have 3 strikers, or if we're gonna play 3-5-2, four forwards. I don't know what we're gonna do, but let's see how it develops.
And kind of looking at it more so, because I kind of want to. I'm going to ask you this. We'll touch briefly on the Sevilla game, but is he a complete number 9? Is Dusan a complete number 9 in your
Not
eyes?
yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. He's
All
gonna.
right.
He needs somebody to teach him how to be a complete number 9, because right now he shows it on and off. The like when he senses, like the goal against Atalanta, out of nowhere he scores, but he still needs somebody to hold his hand. Like for example, I don't want Conte. I'm not saying I want Conte. I don't want him at all. But what Conte, you saw what he did with Lukaku. Okay, he made the guy from a flop to a top by teaching him how to play with his back towards the goal. Okay, and whoever comes has to teach him that, because he doesn't have that skill, and he needs that skill. Either there's 2 ways for a striker. Either you can be a Benzema, okay, and then you can drop down, and or Higuain also, who was good with that, who drops down to the midfield and can facilitate the play, because he's good. He has a vision. He has passing and stuff. I don't think Vlahovic has the technical qualities to do that. So the second option, which is more feasible and more, everybody does it, every striker does it, is to play back to goal, and that's the thing that he needs to learn. So no, for me, he's not a complete striker yet, but he has the ceiling, how I say it. The floor is low right now, but the ceiling is high.
I got you. KF is asking me, guys, why are we not talking about the the main story of the new kit? We'll talk about that. I'll just wait for more people to come in. Tom saying KF looks better on the players than the mock-up photos. I just wish I had normal stripes. Also saying Pepita is so undervalued. He is, because there's so much to Higuain that you can do that. Not that people really fully
Value.
appreciate. Yeah.
Yeah. You only know when how do you say it? Like, you only know and value something when it's gone. Same with Higuain. When he laughed. Well, actually, when we moved him abruptly, when Cristiano Ronaldo came, it was the death of his career.
His confidence never came back the same at all.
No.
And because I know Dave is watching in the background. But anyways, I'm gonna transition to a quick pivot while we get some more people here. Yes, KF, just for you, and also Dave, because I know Dave is watching. Here you go. There's a new kit with Dave's superstar, Giulio Grosso, as
Oh,
well.
I
So
thought you would use the Fagioli and Grosso photo.
I could, but I just saw Grosso first, and I just picked
Okay.
Grosso. Uh, guys, we will miss Quadrado. Mark this comment.
Okay.
I don't
I
know.
would miss Cuadrado of 3 years ago. And Cuadrado as a guy he was throughout his main career, yeah, of course I'm gonna miss him. He's one of the most clutch players I've seen at Juve. Would score wonder goals out of nothing. But recently, it's time to move on. Well, we can replace him eventually.
Yeah. KF is in love with Julia. Dave is saying my jersey is arriving Monday. Does it have a Grosso on the back, Dave, or is it no named? So we need
I
some
think it
confirmation
is
on that one.
Dave Grosso. He took her last name.
Yeah, that's the one thing Dave wants Juve to do is to give him a Julia Grosso jersey signed and
Oh yeah.
autographed by Jules.
Imagine Beppe doing an interview with Grosso and then Dave just jumps into Twitch. Like nothing. Okay, no, I just love you. That's it. Okay, bye bye.
He does have access to it, so he'll wait for them to
He'll
do the actual show, and then Dave says it is blank on the back. Dave could potentially do that. Like, for example, if Bepe's like, "Hey, I'm interviewing Julia Grosso on the Twitch," Dave will wait for them to go live. He'll hop in. He'll be like, "Hey, Julia, hi,"
Hi.
and then just leaves.
Hey, I'm Dave. I'm from Canada. I love you. Bye.
I love you. Bye.
And then she's like, why are people joining in this conversation?
I know.
From
They're
where
just
is
like,
she, where,
who are these guys? It's like, I'm
yeah.
sorry, these are the afternoon guys, the English guys. Just nope, terrible. KF says, I'm getting mine with my name on the back and the number 10. I didn't know center backs wore 10s, Hamza. That's
Hmm.
kind of interesting there, buddy.
What's the name? What? Shireya used to play that role. The libero, the back in the 80s, where they were the playmaker of the team, but from way back.
Oh, that's the deep playmaker.
Deep, KF, deep squad.
Very deep. But anyways, I think outside of the Guntoli news, I don't think that there's been really too much buzz outside of
There was news like Vlahovic, teams are following Vlahovic, and he is upset with the team, and the team is upset with him, and just trash talk, trash newspaper talk.
it's just trash newspaper talk. And if Dusan really was pissed off at the team, I would say accomplish more, buddy, before you have
Yes.
any weight in the locker room. But the thing is like, and I know because it was ironic because right when Dave and I were about to go live on the Juve Twitch channel, the Kony news dropped of potential point deductions and stuff like that. We really haven't heard anything from it. The only thing that we know is 30 days before they hit us with a penalty. And
No, next week.
next
Monday.
week now. Next Monday.
Next Monday.
So
Before the Empoli game. That's like remember on Thursday we were playing on Thursday, the Europa League against Sporting, where they told us that it will be postponed and stuff. You get your 15 points back just 2 hours before the game. Same idea they're gonna do for Empoli.
because ironically, if we win, we're almost 9 points clear of fourth place. If we win
Yeah,
tomorrow,
that we need it because
so
I feel like maximum they're gonna give us 9 points. That's what I feel. Minimum, I don't know, but maximum 9 points.
I think we might luck out because the reason is because Milan's absolutely imploded again, and then Roma is just not looking that good at all. I think Roma's just putting all their eggs in the Europa League, so maybe. But Hamza saying again, haha, my Delict kit, I wear it as a jumper now. This was a question from LJJ. Says, do we have youngsters to replace Sandro for next season? So right now, off rip, we have Cambiaso that's coming back, and then we also have eyes on Parisi from Empoli as a potential left back.
And Barbieri plays as left, and plays left back, left wing back, right wing back.
Yeah. And then KF saying, I cannot lie, I want to look a kick. I said kick. Kit. He is my favorite player. Them slide tackles are crazy. Thing about Locatelli for me that really irritates me about him, he has great slide tackling, but that's pretty much it. I haven't really
Yeah, continue.
No, I was gonna say I haven't really seen much of a, game building or playing as a regista or anything. Even as a Mazzala, you would see someone take the ball up and dribble. Like, for example, Rabiot is a terrible dribbler, but he just takes it, puts his head down, and runs over everybody. Like that's Rabiot's dribble. It's a power dribble. But with Loca, like, his passes aren't the sharpest. His dribbling is kind of So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I still think he has, he can still develop more, but I'm not 100%. Like, I love his defensive work rate, but his offensive stuff, I'm just a little bit.
Allegri has really, really improved him and defensively, but his positioning, his slide tackles, his standing tackles, his blocks, interventions, anything defensive, massively improved. Look at it compared to last year. But that's what we always talk about. Because players, and Locatelli too, was great in a De Zerbi system in Sassuolo. That's where he's shown. That's where all the attractiveness to Locatelli came from. But because he's a system player, he needs a consistent system. That's how he function well. He as it's shown right now, he doesn't have the footballing IQ enough to do plays by himself. Also, if you see when he dribbles, most of the time, I don't know why he doesn't know how to close control dribble. Like every time he's gonna dribble, it's like he's gonna fall, like he's gonna
All
make a
over.
split with his leg. Like it's like he's jumping like this between each leg, and he's gonna flop in 1 second. You don't know what's gonna happen. And so yeah, like he's very off balance when he starts dribbling.
Yeah.
Which, if you're gonna play as a Mezzala, you should know how to dribble a bit at least. And yeah, Rabiot has zero silkiness in his dribble. Like it's just I go down, I put the ball forward. If
That's
a
it.
lag comes, I put it up over the leg and I just run. Nothing else.
No, 100%. And so, like, for example, if I look at Locatelli's stats in 29 matches, he's got 0 goals and 1 assist. This is me talking about him offensively. Defensively, his defensive stats are absolutely stellar. Offensively, mediocre. Because again, you're telling me here he does those beautiful crosses, switching play, and also does them odd flicks. Some of those flicks nearly want me to go over there and strangle him sometimes because of the
Yeah,
decision making
sometimes
that
he
he
does
does.
it to. Sometimes he does it, and it goes back to the opposition. Like Fagioli does it amazingly, by the way, the flicks and stuff. He does it on point every time.
Yeah, I
Fagioli
think.
has another issue. I'll touch it.
Yeah,
Let's focus on Locatelli first.
yeah, and like he has the distribution, but like for example, he's for me when I'm looking at that Regista role, my previous player that I use as reference point is Pjanic.
Pjanic.
Pjanic's distribution was very very good, and with Loca, I don't see them. It's just like I don't see it there yet
No,
because like
he
Pjanic
does
was a
it
finished
once,
product.
twice a game. But the thing is, his switch of plays isn't towards our, if he's on the left, to our right winger. It's to our right fullback. So it's not like okay,
It's
you are
yeah,
switching play, but it's not like a whole massive difference, because
yeah.
it's
It's
just
not
making it faster.
it's not him essentially taking the ball and launching it over to Kostic or Di Maria. Most of the time,
Exactly.
it's Di Maria that's launching the ball over to Kostic or launching it over to Cuadrado. Because the thing is like if Loca's distribution was incredible, Di Maria wouldn't be playing centrally.
No way.
Allegri has to, because the problem is, and this is one of the things that I mentioned Thursday, outside of Paul and maybe Fajoli sometimes, there's not a ball distributor in the middle, which is one of the reasons why Juve don't attack through the middle of the park because we don't have that piece there. Because what Allegri's trying to do to compensate by it is by bringing in Di Maria and Chiesa to play to fill that gap in the middle. But again, like for example, Di Maria, in my opinion, I just don't see him as that guy. I see him as a guy that you put him out on the wing. He's isolated one-on-one with the defender. He beats the guy, creates space, throws the ball into the box. That's been Di Maria's MO ever since he's been a professional player. Chiesa, almost the same thing again with Chiesa. Chiesa's leave me alone one-on-one with a guy, let me sprint past him. That was Chiesa's style.
Yeah. My issue is the thing is about that. I accept Di Maria being in the center. You know why? Because he is now 35. he doesn't have the pace. If you see, like lately after the international, he doesn't have the pace to beat consistently 1-on-1. And already, if you see, teams start to double and triple up on him, knowing that he doesn't have the pace anymore to beat them with pace or acceleration. He has only this close control skills he has. So I'm okay with him operating in the middle. But what I want more from him is more physicality if you're in the middle, because every touch he gets, he's falling on his face, and the referee is not giving us a foul. So the ball is going back to a transition to the opponents. So that's why it's like yeah, I understand you're going to put Di Maria in the middle to facilitate more, but he has to hold his own a lot better.
Yeah, the
And
middle of the field is different than the wings when it comes to physicality and being able to, because there's always someone touching you when you're in the middle of the field versus on the wing, where you have the ability to kind of do something, but in the middle of the pitch, somebody's on you right then and there, and you're gonna have to adjust to it right away. There is no there isn't really much of a margin for error that you have when you're in the middle of the park versus, like, for example, when you're out wide. And that's one of the reasons why, like, for example, I still think Dusan is suffering, is because he's just not used to having people breathe down his neck. Because when he was at Fiorentina, Dillet did the same thing, and he struggled every time he played against us.
yeah, and also, that's the difference between having Di Maria and having Pogba. You see the difference when you have Pogba in the middle up there, because he has the physique and the dribbling on top of it. To like, he's getting 2-3 people on him. He's holding them off by his physique and by his skills at the same time. That's why the play improves, but it's just having better quality players that have IQ and the traits to work and function, be functional in that area. Angel Di Maria right now, it's kind of a situation where you don't know where to put him exactly to excel, because for me, and not anymore, he's not a right winger anymore. If I want to have a right winger, I want to have it with pace, a bit more pace. Like, he has attacky skills. I want more. What's happening to the camera?
I just
I
know
want more.
it's fine. Go on.
I want more pace and to beat the man. That's why I love Illing and his directness. Chiesa usually, he would beat his man. Like, okay, the past games weren't good enough, but he usually beats the man by pace and skill. That's what you need. That's why I'm so worried from Kulusevski. Latest rumors about Kulusevski coming back. I'm
So
so worried about that.
I heard he's being bought. It looks like Football Italia posted an article saying that Tottenham is starting to begin the process of purchasing him outright. So I think we might be free of
Because
Kulusevski.
the coach said, came out and said, I don't know if you're gonna buy him, but we feel like he's a Tottenham player, but I don't know if we're gonna buy him. So I'm like, is he gonna be your player or is he not? Do I have to have depression or I don't? Like, it's a simple question, man. Just answer me.
I think the manager is going to be coy, but I would be surprised if I see Kulu back. I think they're more than likely going to purchase him. LJJ says Illing is good so far. Hopefully, he continues to improve and become a star. Guy came
I
in.
hope so.
He's doing what Gatti is doing. He came in, got the opportunity, made the best of the opportunity. It's all you can ask for, really.
Exactly.
That's all you can ask for, and the kid did it. I mean, I think he was so close to having that
close.
assist. Very, very, very
Yeah.
close.
I wanted him to shoot it though instead of pass. I just
I-
slam it in.
So I'm kind of curious. Is he left-footed or is he
Yes,
right-footed?
left-footed.
Okay. Because he's got some confidence in moving with his right. So I thought that was interesting. Because for some reason, he almost had me confused thinking that he's a right-footed player, but he is.
He's balanced but more left-oriented. I think with
See?
the right foot is he does the step forwards and stuff with the
Yep.
right foot and moves, but the shooting and the passing and everything is with the left.
Okay.
If he can use both feet, wow.
Yeah, he can use his right foot more than Dusan can.
Oh man, that Dushan is another issue. I wanna. Oh my god, man! I had a crisis from the first 30 minutes. People saying, "Oh, it's offside." Man, put the ball in the
Put
net.
it in the net. See, I said it too. Because we made fun of Alvaro Morata for that, where it's like the king of offsides, but the dude finished it in the net every single time. Where it's like for Dusan, for me, the issue wasn't that he was onsides or offsides. My issue was his decision making on how he took both of those opportunities.
Yeah.
Because the thing is the whistle wasn't blown before. Like the whistle
No.
wasn't blown before, so he could have gone in. Because the thing is, if you don't hear the whistle, you're supposed to go 100% in that play because you never know, it might get called for a goal after VAR. For me, what frustrated me is the first one where it was a cross from the right side of the field. He tried doing an outside of the left foot volley instead of just using his right foot to loft it over the goalie. Where I'm sitting here,
Yes.
it's like, dude, common sense here, brother. Like, it's not that complicated.
Or take a simple, like if the ball is coming, take a simple touch with your right and then smack it in. Like simple stuff, dude. Simple stuff.
Yep.
Like you know what I loved last year? His composure in front of the net. This year there's no composure. He's whiffing at the shots, man. Okay, that's a confidence thing. I understand, but if your ceiling is that high, and we believe that your ceiling is that high, and it's all Allegri's fault, fine. But you don't lose the traits that make you, which is a composure by a young player that you don't see. Now, it doesn't. It looks like it's a facade because it doesn't look like he has any composure. Also, after he misses chances, he drops. His level drops. He cannot be in the game anymore. It's like, I'm done. I'm shit. Okay, what's happening, etc., etc. Brother, focus on the game. A ball will come and you can score. And that's the problem with him.
Yeah, and with people in the chat, and you guys can call in later, but can we all sit here and come into common ground and say that it's not 100% Allegri for Dusan? Like,
It's for me. Yeah, sorry, continue.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
For me, it's about 30% Allegri. 30, because he's not scoring enough goals and chances. But at the end of the day, you are a 13 million gross per year striker, and you cannot do the basics. Are you Moise Kean? I'm like, are you Moise Kean? Moise Kean earns 3 million gross, okay? 3 million gross, which is quarter of your wages, and has the same touch as you. Okay?
Frankie
are you
would
at
love
this?
that.
Are you and him? Are you the same ceiling? No. Okay, let's be fair. Like, okay, my skin has improved, but his ceiling is nowhere as Dushan. But at the end of the day, you cannot have this much of a terrible first touch, man.
100%. And we're gonna move on now into the next segment. We're gonna talk about quite briefly. We're gonna talk about the Sevilla game, and I'm going to give you highlights of that match real quick.
Magical, man.
That's pretty much all the highlights because that was not really the cleanest game that we had yesterday. Giving you guys some Pogba magic, but kind of just briefly talking about it. If you guys really want the full detail rant that I had where I kind of lost my crap here, go ahead and check our YouTube channel. Dave actually snipped it out and titled it just the post game. It was a really poor performance. I think the lineup, I think this one, I'm going to honestly put this one on Allegri because his starting lineup was atrocious. To be honest with me, you do not start the three oldest center backs on your roster.
Even though you're facing a very old team,
you don't.
Yeah.
The problem is Sevilla's old, but the players that burn you on Sevilla's team are young, like Gil, Ocampos, and their striker El Nasser de Moroccan, Sabeli, the Moroccan.
Sabairi.
So
yeah.
All of those guys absolutely cooked our back three the first half. That was absolutely pure madness. How bad that was. Again, I made the reference where I'm still looking outside my window and I still see Bonucci still chasing that goal right now, currently live at the Allianz. But it's one of those things where it's just like I was so mad at Allegri. Because I didn't think that would make sense. And like, for example, because of Sevilla's age, this is one of those games where, in my opinion, you start Illing Jr. and you start Chiesa because you hit them with pace. Because, like, for example, guys, we saw Illing absolutely take Navas to school a couple of times, and old veteran Navas on that right flank for Sevilla. The only issue is, again, Chiesa just doesn't want to run for some reason. But the thing is like you have to beat a team like Sevilla. You beat them with pace. You have to force them back tactically. Because, like, for example, if we're countering with if we're countering with slow players or players that can't get back, Sevilla's going to torch us like they did the first 30 minutes that game. They absolutely, like, yeah, we had chances, we created chances, but they torched us. There was so many times where they could have easily gone up 3-0. The issue is like, for example, and I was saying this, nobody was attacking through the middle of the field. We were going through the wings. Sevilla knew we were going through the wings, so they overloaded their wings. Gaps in the middle of the field. Nobody could attack in the middle of the field. And then it got to the point in the second half where everybody's sitting there trying to play hero ball instead of actually looking for opportunities. Like, for example, there was an instance where Milik gets a beautiful turn, and instead of passing it to Chiesa, he shoots. Where it's like, relax. And the
Pass
thing,
it.
and the thing that irritated me the most, and this was more so towards Milik, and I've been an advocate for Milik, but the fact that Gatti came in on that play and moved Milik out of the way to hit that goal, that showed to me that Gatti wanted that goal more than Milik. Where Gatti was saying, "Hey, I'm a Gucci." Yeah, he was about to literally rip Milik's head off with that header. That's how ferocious Gatti came in there. Like, that to me really frustrates me. Where it's like, for example, and I said this, then I said our veteran players are not setting the example for Juve. Where it's Illing that's setting the tone. It's Gatti that's setting the tone. You have sometimes where Fagioli sets the tone. Rabiot, as great as he's been this season, sometimes he sets it, sometimes he ghosts. Danilo as well. I think Danilo, out of the other back three, I think Danilo played better than the other two, but again, that's not really that much of a high standard. And this isn't a knock on Danilo, but
he was the best for me.
He was the best defender out of them. And then, like, for example, Kostic again, struggling again, not being able to find his stride or really do anything. And then again, he's a veteran player, experienced, been in these moments before. Dusan decided to leave his mind in Ibiza or somewhere this game because he wasn't there at all. Even with those offside chances, it just didn't seem like he was there at all. And I made the comment where I said Dusan's probably in his head, it's like half of his mind is where he's packing his bags and going to for some reason.
Maybe.
And then, same thing with Milik. And Milik has been really lethargic recently, where now I kind of understand why Juve isn't triggering his renewal clause. Not yet. Waiting
for Giuntoli to come.
But the thing is like, and I know Dave and Farad and Lucas were talking about Morata, but like, he's actually as a backup, as a third option, because you're going to lose either Milik or Keane. I don't see him as a bad opportunity if you get him in for a cheap, because he's willing to take a pay cut to come back. And you imagine if you get him for free?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
I expect. Yeah, no way. I would die. I would not take Morata again. I'll explain to you why. Morata has the same issue as Dusan Vlahovic. What's that issue? If he starts missing, he misses.
But
he lets your team down when you want him. I want my backup. Milik is great as a backup, honestly, because wherever you put it, he's still okay. He was bad-ish compared to his usual standard, but he was still functioning, holding the ball, protecting the ball, fighting the defender, peeling off from the defender, and those stuff. Now, if I want a striker that I want him to have the capacity to make his own shots as well. Like, we have a lot of African top scorers right now in Serie A, if you notice.
You want Dia. I know you want Dia from Salernitana.
I want Bula Dia. I want Enzola from Spezia. Have you seen him? He's a fucking train, man. He dribbles. He does everything for Spezia. He is like, Spezia are gonna stay up because of him. Because just Enzola and the beast that he is. Okay.
He beat Milan today single-handedly. So the thing that I wanted to say about Morata isn't because, like, for example, for me, I don't want him to be your main number 9. Like, for example, where Morata really thrives well in is, like, for example, if you have a main guy that's on the pitch, and then Morata's there for scraps. Like, for example, and this isn't, I don't even think this is Pirlo's tactics or anything like that, but, like, for example, when he was playing alongside Cristiano the 2020-21 season, he had a 31 goal assist contribution that season, which was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So like for me, he's one of those players where he offers you so much off the ball than he does really more so on the ball. Like to me, Morata is like, I don't want to say he's a Mandzukic-esque player when Mandzukic played on the left wing. That's not like the entire comparison that I'm thinking of, but something similar-esque, because you need a forward player that can do something like that to work in an Allegri system. Because like for example, Kostic is absolutely tapped out. His legs don't have it. Chiesa, as much as we love Chiesa isn't really firing on all cylinders right now. And then Cuadrado, he's got 1 foot out, 1 foot into retirement at some point. But like, for example, the one thing though that I do agree with you that we need up top is we need a fast striker. We need a striker that's just an absolute bulldog that can run with pace. I don't
Yeah.
think we've had that ever. Because like, for
No.
example, if we have a Dia, if we have someone that can just take it and just book, where it's like, for example, say that we're having a corner kick, and then like, for example, say that Bremer just heads it out and heads it towards the middle of the field, and you just see Dia take off and chase after it. That
Yeah.
would add so much dynamism to a counter-attacking team. It would be incredible.
Like Victor Osimhen. No, like let's be honest, he's the most complete striker we have in the league. You know what? Because he holds up the play. He holds up the play, starts the play. He has pace. Like he is pace. He makes shots from himself too, and dribbles also. You see, when I see Vlahovic dribble, I faint because it's like I'm watching myself dribble. There's, he's clumsy on the ball. Like what the hell, man? What the hell? So yeah, like if you want to play a counter attacking game, you need to have a counter attacking striker, somebody that's pacey. Like the perfect striker right now is Colomwani from Eintracht Frankfurt. If you've seen him, he's a French striker. Yeah, he's worth 100 and something million now, so forget about it. But that mold of a striker that can hold up play, okay, but his main attribute is his speed and his paciness and his dribbles. Buradia is one, Zola is number two. Like Adam Lukman, for example, when the Atalanta were actually playing well, he's now injured for some while. But Adam Lukman had that. Yeah, he would go with pace, with strength and dribbles. That's the modern striker right now, a modern number 9 that does that. That's why also Benzema, before he has been playing top level football. He's now what, 37? No, he was playing top flight football since 18. Yeah, and he won Lyon at age 20, their last league title, because he had pace and he had the smartness of being technical on the ball. He is the epitome of how modern strikers should be. Vlahovic is how old strikers were, the ones that are heavy and tall and should be strong, but they're not.
Interesting fact for the folks that watch Blue Lock, Noel Noah is based off of Benzema. So like the writer, I don't know if you've read it, but it's a soccer series or football series. But yeah, for our anime fans in the chat, I found that out recently, and I was just like, it totally makes sense. Similar play style, because I started getting the gist of it when I was reading it. But overall, I mean, I don't want to say we're not going to win in Sevilla.
Yeah,
but it's going to be tough.
Mission impossible, man. You know their record at home?
Yeah, they're undefeated with their new coach at home.
No, not just their coach. They are undefeated in Europa League's history when they make semifinals. So let's break the virginity there.
But yeah, it's going to be tough. Again, anything can happen. Yeah, but to be honest with you, don't mean to be Mr. Cynical and negative over here. But I don't like our chances.
Yeah,
it's one thing going in and going in with a 1-0 or a 2-0 or a 2-1 lead where you put the pressure on them at home. The only thing that's saving us, the only thing that's our silver lining, and yeah, that could have been 2 right there for Rabiot's boo-boo, but the only silver lining is that the away goal rule doesn't exist anymore. So for
Exactly.
Sevilla to beat us, they actually have to beat us.
Mhm.
So that's one of those things where I believe Allegri said it, and I'm also going to say it as well. Is I think the key to beating Sevilla in Sevilla is that we have to draw them out of position because Sevilla has to chase the game as well. So that means we have an opportunity for some space and to make something happen.
Exactly.
And I'm going to go back to the chat real quick. So Anatoly is saying now in the head of Vlahovic, he lost his self-confidence. Problem is mental. He is overwhelmed or burned out, as we like to say it here in the West. LJ says, I think Dusan is very frustrated and he can't control his anger, and that's the problem. Also, he's struggling with one-on-ones with a defender. Yeah. LJ says, but I do believe he grows if he stays. Thumbs up from
Depends on the
Anatoly.
coach.
Yeah, it depends on the coach. Tom 26R says I couldn't agree more, and then LJ says he has a lot of support from his teammates though, which is a huge benefit to him. Talking about Victor Osimhen is great to play with Napoli, but you never know when you see him play for another team. I don't know. I think if that team has a great ball service, I think Osimhen's good because for me, Osimhen's intelligence is top notch when it comes to positioning.
Also, he has played with Gattuso, Spalletti. I think he also played with Ancelotti back then. So he played with different managers with different styles of football, and he has succeeded with all of them. Okay, he succeeded most with Spalletti, but like he had a lot of weird injuries throughout his
Yeah,
Napoli career. Like
he's
he broke
actually
his
healthy now.
face.
Yeah,
Yeah, he broke his face again after breaking his face
ACL.
for a couple of months.
Hey,
His ear, his shoulder, weird shit for some reason for a footballer. But at the end of the day, every coach he was functional.
yeah.
Dushan right now isn't functional for Allegri and his style.
Alrighty, so time to get into the pregame show. And we're going to talk with Allegri's pre-match press conference. So credits to the good old Juventus Twitter. That's why I love using these guys because they actually have the thing translated. So talking in the comments here about Cremonese. So Allegri is saying Cremonese have done well in the second half of the season. Ballardini has gotten some good results. They don't give much away and they're dangerous to counter. So you have to go out there and earn every win. And then he's following up with saying we're doing a good job with the youngsters because this was a question about the next gen. But we must carry on with nurturing their development. Being second is no easy achievement with everything that went on. Now we must finish the season as well as we can. And then Allegri saying Perin will start tomorrow. Bremer is fit and well. Rabiot will be available too. We're not thinking about Thursday. We have to beat Cremonese. That was an interesting comment that he mentioned. I think that's quite interesting. Then he says Pogba's condition is improving. He knows he needs a lot of games to get back to his best, but the main thing is being available, even if it's just for one half or 30 minutes. Just teasing. He's teasing something. And
He's
then
teasing my heart.
I know. And then Allegri says morale is higher after Gatti's goal, as it means that we have everything to play for on Thursday, which again is true. It's difficult, but it's true. We have our own job in Serie A. We can't influence any external factors. And then Allegri is talking about in regards to Keane. Keane is in good shape. He's missed a few games, but he's a player I am counting on. And then in response to the situation that the club is currently in, he says the situation we're in energizes us. We've never complained, and we've kept focusing solely on the pitch. Thursday was an example of us turning difficulties into opportunities, which he's true. It is true. Because a lot of people, I'm pretty sure they were positive that game was done and dusted, and that was
Oh yeah,
Fino alla fine at its best
exactly.
with the last kick of the game. Like you're saying, Bonucci, talking about Bonucci with 500 matches played with Juve. Bonucci is a smart guy. He's reached a historic milestone. I'm proud of him and happy of all the years that we've worked together. He's already been ready to help and has deserved everything. Hopefully, we'll have him back in the last few games. And then Juve says that wraps up their press conference. So, moving in, that was Tottenham news. Moving into the actual starting lineup that we see here. So I'm going to zoom in for you folks. So, FOTMob clearly has been terrible this season when it comes to guessing the starting lineups. So we're going to have some fun here. So obviously, I think we know Szczesny's not starting. It's going to be Pirin. And then we have, this was interesting. So I saw it on Sky Sport and Giovanni Albanese. The back line of Rugani, Gatti, and Danilo. which
Hmm.
is I'm
Weird.
actually
I wanted that to be the starter against Sevilla.
yeah. So guys, we get to see Walgani at his finest. That is going to be on a T-shirt if Rugani keeps doing his consistent form. Illing Jr. starting in on the left flank with a midfield of Miretti, Paredes, and Fagioli, which I thought was interesting.
It's too weak physically for
Yeah,
Cremonese.
yeah, that one.
Now people will come and hunt me like, what, techies and stuff. No, man, no. This is football, not techies. You see the midfield of theirs. It would be Mate and Pickle, maybe, if you've seen him. Something. His name is Pickle. He's Belgian, I think.
Mhm.
Anyway, both are very physical and sort of technical players, but mainly physical. So both Fagioli and Miretti are gonna be jostled out of position. We need somebody physical in there. If you're gonna play Paredes, I'm okay because Baranechea. I get using Baranechea, but he's not a good player. Let's be honest. He is not a Juve caliber player. Sad to say, honestly. But so you put Paredes and Locatelli, in my opinion, and choose one of Fagioli Miretti.
Alrighty, and then I think it's more so he's rotating as well, so I think that's why it looks a little bit of a weird lineup. But the interesting thing that we're seeing on the right wing back position, I don't know how true this is, but it's projected that Barberi will be
Yeah, it
starting.
is. Giovanni Albanese said it just yesterday. Yesterday's Friday for me. So Friday night he said both Barbieri and Ealing have a lot of chance of playing from the first minute. Defense Rugani, as you said, and Danilo and Gatti, as you said, pairing in goal. Just most between Milik and Chiesa, I think are gonna start, not Kane.
So the one thing I kind of want to, since we're talking about defenders here, real quick, is I want to address a comment that some people have made in regards to Alexandro and Davis saying, "Hey guys, how are you? Hey, our German Dave." Um, I kind of wanted to comment on, guys. You realize that Gatti plays right center back and Alexandro plays left center back, right? And Danilo's technically the starting right center back when we have everybody healthy because Bremer is the center back. So Allegri is not benching Gatti. I kind of want to make that perfectly clear because it's kind of difficult to play Sandro or Gatti in Sandro's position as a left center back because that's not Gatti's preferred area. So I thought it was interesting where a lot of people are like, "How are you benching Gatti? Gatti's been on fire. It makes no sense." Well, Danilo's been covering Alexandro's spot, and Gatti's been covering Danilo's spot, and Allegri's going to put Danilo over Gatti every single time. It's
You
yeah.
know why Allegri started benching what's his name?
Gatti.
Gatti? Since which game?
I want to say it was. There's one
Because
where it was just a disaster. It was almost a goal that they scored. I think it was Bologna.
no, it's after Napoli. You know why? Because from Napoli, before there was Freiburg. He's making two crucial, not technical mistakes like Sandro does. Okay, Sandro and Danilo were doing technical mistakes. He was doing moronic mistake, which was punching Kvara and kicking person on the neck in that sporting game, if you remember.
Yeah,
As soon
that's
as he
right.
came on, okay, one strike, two strike, be on the bench, and get cool off. Okay, because if he does one more time and something like that, he gets a red card. There's no messing with it, and the whole game is screwed. He is teaching. He is nurturing him basically. Like, boy, I know you're like a ball of lightning. Just control your emotions. Don't punch or kick people, okay? Because we need you. Because he has technical qualities that we need.
Yes. He does. He's one of the few defenders that isn't afraid to take a dribble and beat someone one-on-one. But yeah, again, and it's like that as well. But then also you look at it from a positional standpoint because, like for example, at the beginning of the year when Allegri played Gatti as the left center back, Gatti absolutely got torched. He was
It was so
getting
bad.
cooked. It was not good. And the thing is and where Gatti really found his spot is that right center back role. But again, I want to illustrate this and make this perfectly clear. Gatti will not take over if everyone is healthy. So if Bremer is healthy, if Sandro is healthy, Gatti cannot take over Danilo for the starting job unless Danilo is
What
injured.
I would do, honestly, even though it will harm a bit Danilo, put Danilo on the left, put Gatti on the right. As we were doing in the last part where we're getting in March, I think, when Alexandro was injured, and we were playing well because Gatti was on the right, Danilo on the left, covering, and Bremer in the center of the pitch. If Bremer is injured, put Wolgani in the middle, Gatti on the right, Sandro. Don't put Sandro, okay? Sandro, as much as Bonucci is like, geriatric patient, he is a Brazilian geriatric patient, and he's not even hitting 33 yet. Like, how many times did you see him slip against Sevilla? Did you count?
Numerous
Like,
times.
he was like Bambi on skates, but like not just Bambi. He's like the geriatric Bambi. Like he has the wheeler on top, but he's skating at the same time, so it's flopping.
No, and I'm with you 100%, and that's why again I was really frustrated where we started that entire back line because like for me, a lot of people don't understand this, but there is so much off the ball movement that Danilo does to cover, to fill in gaps, to fill in spaces. Like for example, there are so many times that Danilo would cover Cuadrado defensively or cover Kostic defensively that goes extremely unnoticed when it comes to positioning and ball movement. So for me, unless he is injured or hurt, I don't see Danilo ever not playing a game. Especially with Allegri. And, a lot of people
Especially with
can
the situation we
exactly.
have.
And the thing is, and I always get irritated when someone says that Danilo is a Real Madrid reject or a Manchester City reject. Do you realize, like, for example, say that, we drop Vlahovic and send him to Bayern Munich or whatever, or Bayern
He's a
Munich
Juve
fans,
reject.
yeah, as a Juve reject, because I think that to me was probably hands down one of the most softest comments I've ever heard in regards to his renewal.
So respectfully, it's retarded what
It
someone says.
is. Yeah, it is because that's the thing. That's what makes great coaches. Great coaches can take players that, were not doing well in another system and reinvigorate their career. Coaches have done that all the time.
Andrea Barzagli, is he a Wolfsburg reject back then when we got him for 500K?
That's true. It's true.
What nonsense are you spewing, my man, if you're gonna talk like that? What utter nonsense.
It is the beauty of it. But the one thing I'm kind of happy to see though about this lineup is I'm very curious to see how a young left wing back and our young right wing back are going to do. The one player that kind of gives me heartburn on Cremonese's team is going to be Carnesecchi as their goalkeeper because the last time we played them, holy smokes, man, it took a hell of a free kick by Milik at the end of the game to get that point against Cremonese. So I think Carnesecchi has been an absolute outstanding goalkeeper for them. Unfortunately, he actually has an assist, which is interesting. But overall, recent performances 8.5, 8.5, very good. So he's coming in on form. And again, these guys aren't really doing too well table wise.
No, they're playing better. They have been playing really, really better right now.
Yeah.
Look at their form.
Right now, there you have, besides their recent loss there with Udinese, but they've beaten Empoli. They have drawn against Hellas Verona. They have drawn against Milan, which was huge for them. And then they also beat Spezia 2-0. So they're trying to give themselves a little bit of elbow room to try to compete to get out of relegation. They need to win desperately, so they're going to be coming at us with everything to try to
Can you put out their lineup?
Yeah.
So that I tell you who I fear personally. Sir Nicola as the right back. He's a very attack-minded right wing back that overlaps on the laps and doesn't stop running. And it is Okereke at the front line. Ciofani is very stale. Like he is Fernando Llorente, if you remember, but when he was at Napoli, when he was already finished. Okay, that's Ciofani. But Okereke is very mobile, very agile striker that acts like a 9.5, like between a 9 and a 10. So we have to keep very close eye on him.
Okereke gave us trouble in the first leg.
Exactly.
Really
Okereke and the guy from Roma, Felix Gian. He hit the woodwork, if you remember.
Yep, that's correct as well. And going in with our good friend David here. David saying Danilo is always the last guy in our back line, saving us by mistakes, and Sandro and our wingbacks always sliding tackles in at the last second. I'm telling you, I think we're the only YouTube channel outside of Giuseppe that can sit here and constantly talk about the things that Danilo does and contributes instead of whining about him getting renewed.
No. Honestly, there is only one YouTube channel that whines. All others are praising him, to be honest. Only one doesn't understand football. Let's be honest.
I totally agree with you there, buddy.
Yeah.
But looking at the previous match history with us and them, we haven't really played outside of this one time. The one time, which was that 1-0 win with a Milik goal. But overall, form-wise, kind of similar. Kind of similar form-wise, but in regards to it, I really do think that that's one of those games that you come in, you win it, and you go in from there. If you don't win, you got to win those games, especially now. And the reason why I say that is if I should probably share the table with you folk, but because of the potential point deductions, and I was talking about it too, Misak, before we went live, our threshold is right here. So 5th place, which is 61 points. They were saying between, I believe, 6 and 9 points could be potentially reduced.
4 to 9.
4 to 9. 4 to 9. So what we need to do as a club is be 9 points, or I would say 10 points ahead of 5th place at all times. And it's quite doable, especially with who Milan have to play. And we have to also play Milan. And then I do believe Roma is also losing steam as well. But if we look, go ahead.
If we win all of our games, we're automatically gonna be 10 points ahead of Milan because what's the name? We will play Milan. So that's a 6-pointer already.
Yep.
So like if we win tomorrow, it's 9 points. If we win again against Milan, it's gonna be 12 points. No, 8 points and then 11 points, as I said. So we would be safe. We just have to play our games and win.
Yeah, and then the next person or the next team that would be on the way or close to challenging would be Roma, and they have Bologna, Salernitana, Fiorentina, and Spezia. So there's a huge chance that Roma will drop points against Fiorentina because again, Fiorentina is trying to challenge to get back into these.
They're done.
They're done.
Look
yeah,
at them.
Right, they're done.
Yeah, 12 points. They're on vacation.
Yeah, they're done.
The man Italian is pissing me off. He lost to a freaking
Basel.
drink garnish. Basel.
I still can't believe they lost that game.
Basel. Like,
Basel.
like you put it on a mozzarella. You put it with gin. He lost to a gin garnish, man.
And then I think more so, I think Atalanta is really starting to fall out of the picture here. I think Atalanta is going to stay in Conference League, which I think is a good competition for Atalanta. I think that is very winnable for an Atalanta. I think Fiorentina they were punching above their weight in the Conference League, in my opinion. I just didn't see them beating West Ham. So I think Atalanta is more than likely out and not making it to the final. Inter, surprisingly, have absolutely gotten white hot, especially today with the 4-2 win over
because
Sassuolo.
of us. It's because of Bremer. Bremer gave them this shitty hope, and they're running away with them. I'm pissed. I'm so pissed. that single stupid De Ligt-esque handball just turned the whole picture of Inter, man. They were on a if you remember, they were on a losing streak. And just one mistake. They had no choice. Honestly, if you remember that game, they had no hope of scoring that game. They had no hope. They were nothing. We gifted them life. We actually CPR'd their whole season completely.
We CPR'd them only for them to lose 5-0 to Real Madrid in the Champions League final.
I pray for that. But in this form, I doubt it. They're playing fantastic. They're playing perfect. Limonable, perfect.
Yeah, you think they have a chance against that other side of the bracket?
Oh yeah, but seeing what they have, seeing the experience they have, of course, I will give them a chance. And the technical quality, plus the major difference between Inter and let's say Juve, they have players that suit the formation they're gonna play. They don't have wingers; they have wing backs. They don't have fullbacks; they have wing backs. They have center backs that play only in a 3-man model, and they all function in 3-man model. We have center backs that are good in a 2 and they're good in a 3. We have some full backs and the wing back, one wing back, and trying to play a wing back system. So discombobulated system. And that's the difference between us and them?
I gotcha. I gotcha. Well, everyone, I'm going to open up the phone line so you guys can call in if you guys want to talk with us. Have any thoughts? Want to talk about the Champions League? Want to talk about the Europa League? Um, Want to just talk and make fun of Dave because Dave's probably not watching anymore. Our Dave, not German Dave. But
Yeah.
guys, phone line is down there. If you guys want to talk about stuff, give out your hot takes, anything like that, fun jazz there, just copy the link. The only thing I do ask is you keep it clean and punctual because I don't want us to get yelled at by YouTube because we're this close to monetization. And also, I forgot to say we finally hit 1,400 subscribers. Yeah, it happened this morning, and Dave and I were so busy, and we didn't notice that until I just got a notification right now saying congratulations, yeah, went to 1,400. So,
slowly and surely, you're gonna get there.
I know. You know what's interesting? We've grown quite fast.
Yeah.
I mean, in 6 months, because we started off at barely nothing, and 6-8 months. We started back in like August, end of August, early September. We're into May, so like 7-8 months now. So we're up there. We're up there. I mean,
Yeah. Good job.
one day, the one thing I think right now that we're focused on catching is obviously all UVCast and Bianconeri Zone because they're near 4K. But we're almost halfway there to them. I
Yeah,
think
halfway. By the way, like 100 more and then 1.5. That's a milestone right there. When you get 1.5.
yeah, absolutely. Bones is saying congrats. Aw, thanks, Bones. Bones has been there since the beginning as well. Tom
Yeah.
has been there for a while too. LJJ has said, I subscribed a couple days ago. I randomly found you looking at Juventus videos.
Welcome, people. Welcome, Juventinos.
Thank you. And
True Juventinos, not like absent.
yeah, and my good Albanian friend Komikas is saying grats. Dave is saying I am here. Shit, he heard me. Hey, buddy.
Oh yeah. Hello. We are behaving well. See, we're gonna monetize.
He says, Bone says I love the background Misak. So he loves
Yeah,
your background.
you love Rabio's big boo boo. See, it's his cat. It's not the studs. It's just the cat. It's like he has a lion in his back room. Anyway, yeah.
It's
So,
got a
what do you
tiger.
think about Pogba's cameo in Sevilla?
I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
Man, I hate how much I love him.
I know.
hate being this addicted to a guy that will fail me because he's physically can't be there all the time. But Jesus Christ, man, I missed him. I have missed him for so long. Our midfield has missed a guy like that.
I know. Oh
For
my!
for
When he was
yeah,
running, while he was running, that clip that I showed you guys with him running and having the ball just roll off, I was just like,
it's like watching Ronaldinho.
I
Back
know,
then.
I know. It's mad, just pure mad lad shithousery in almost a sense because he's just like this, like, and then he
Yeah,
just
he's just
passes it
playing
without
around.
looking.
Like you see other Italians. For some reason, some Italians are going crazy on him. Like, what is this clown and entertainer? He was missing all the man. That's Pogba. You let him express. You let him express what he has to express.
If I
That's why Allegri is the greatest coach for him, because he lets him do offensively whatever the hell he wants to do.
And of all those Italian cynics that criticize Pogba, like you should probably criticize your federation for producing absolute garbage as of recent.
Footballers, yeah,
Like how many coaches have said that Italy is far behind in regards to producing actual talent? Like Italy's literally become a B tier when it comes to national team players. Like for example, outside of Chiesa and now and what irritates me is because I want to root for Italy, but like that Euro literally was almost like a flash in a pan, lightning in a
showed.
bottle.
Yeah, because you got Jorginho in the top form of his life. He just won the Champions League with Chelsea as a starter. Boom. Locatelli with De Zerbi playing well. Barella winning the Scudetto and being the starter. But, Verratti also was coming back and playing well. Chiellini just came from the injury. Boom. Like everything clicked in a way like, okay, you can do this. and they did it. It was fantastic, and the main reason was the complete midfield you had and the tactical sense. Now, Chiesa doesn't have that burst anymore. Doesn't have the change of pace anymore, like the directional changes, because his knee. I don't know. You've never suffered from an ACL, right?
Me, no, it's
Have
meniscus.
Have you played with people that have done ACL?
Yes.
What do they complain most of the time?
Usually, most of the time, they don't really run as much as they used to. Their lateral movements aren't really the greatest.
That's the thing. That they complain always that if they're gonna move from left to right immediately, they feel pain when they do it because the meniscus isn't a natural. The ACL, the ligament, isn't as natural as it should be. It's like a synthetic. You can put
Yeah.
synthetic or you can put organ. So it is the movement and the flexibility is very stiff. It's not as flexible as it should be. So they will feel pain when doing it. Now Chiesa has that. If you see him, if he's running like this as a straight line, he runs fast. But remember how he would switch the ball from the left and then the cut inside and then
Yep.
do like spins and stuff. He can't do that anymore.
Same
That's
thing.
why.
Same thing was
That's
Aniello.
why. Yeah. But the thing is, Chiesa is not understanding. That's why he's frustrating Allegri, and he's getting frustrated with Allegri. Like, no, I want to play what he wants to play as he used to play. But man, your body, you have to adapt to your body and know that to be on top level, you have to be more closer to the goal. Okay, you don't need to be that far in the wing, and you have to play simpler. Okay, you don't need to do the change of directions, because if you do it, you're gonna get hurt. As if you remember when he came back from the injury, how much like you would see him like he didn't leave, like he would have the same pace and same chaotic energy. What happened after that was that he got injured immediately because of that, because he doesn't understand what his body's situation is anymore. Sorry for my Chiesa rant, but basically what I was saying,
You're
that
fine, but
Euro was flash in the pan, as you said.
it was. And we do have a good friend in the lobby waiting to come in. Our good friend Tom. Tom finally makes his first ever appearance. Give him a round of applause. Thanks, YouTube.
Oh, I completely agree with the Chiesa thing. I think he's afraid to really give it his all. I think in case, obviously if it happens again, he's out again for a year, isn't he? But I think it's more of a mental issue rather than a physical issue at this point. He just needs to get in the right frame of mind, thinking like, I have the best doctors who have looked after me. It's going to be okay. It's just
It's gonna
maybe,
take time.
yeah, I think like, the summer with like the US tour, he can have like a little bit more freedom with it. There's no, he can try something. It doesn't really matter if you like get dispossessed or even like, concede a goal from doing something, because it's all just about system working and getting your fitness back, isn't it?
Yeah,
There's no
Yeah,
pressure on
exactly.
him.
My
But
thing. Go ahead.
yeah, continue, Dash.
So my thing, and this is one of those things where I've seen it in my eyes. I don't know if you guys have seen it in yourselves, but Chiesa needs to sit down and really consider adapting and learning how to play as a number 10 or a second striker, because he
Yeah.
has the characteristics. Because, like, for example, he can shoot with both feet and he can
Yes.
deliver with power with both feet. Like, I've seen him hit, left-footed shots from outside the box and score. Same thing with his right-footed shots. Again, his finesse right-footed shot. And then again, he's able to do a quick turn and just drive straight through or flick the ball through. I
Yeah.
don't understand why he doesn't do that. For me, because like the thing is like what's frustrating for me, and I called this at the Bologna game, where Allegri brought him in and played him as a 10, but then he started stepping on Kostic's shoes on the left wing, where they were seriously at some points, I'm convinced that they were running into each other, where it's like,
Yeah.
and I think in the one thing that I've wanted, and this is what kind of frustrates me, especially more so with Chiesa and Dusan, because they are your older, you're more, or they're supposed to be mature because they're in their, early to mid 20s. But like the thing is like, for me, it's like when a coach says there and says, hey, I think you should try this. Hey, I think you should look at this. Like, in my opinion, if I'm Dusan or Chiesa, Allegri has won and done more than I have so far. So if Allegri's telling me something, there's some weight to it. It's not just, some old guy at the bench talking out of his ass. Like, for
Yeah.
example, if it was if it was Ronaldo and Sarri's like, Ronaldo, I think you need to do this. Ronaldo can kind of give him that side eye and just be like, oh, hold on a minute,
Who are
buddy.
you?
Like,
What have
yeah,
you won?
yeah,
Yeah.
Sarri came and had won the Europa League
yes, with
and
Chelsea,
Yeah.
won Coppa Italia maybe, or
No.
not even a Coppa Italia. No,
just the Europa
nothing.
League.
Yeah,
Just
the
the
Europa
Europa
League was his
League.
first trophy, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how would you listen compared to why are you showing off and being boasty against a coach that has won a lot, that has succeeded a lot? Like, we have players that are have egos for some reason. They don't have the level for it, right? Okay, if Di Maria is complaining, I understand, because Di Maria is a true world champion. He has won everything and anything that is in the game.
Yeah.
I understand when he has frustrations with the play. I get it.
Yeah.
But you, as a young player, you should adapt, you should improve in that.
Yeah.
And
The thing,
what
go
I
ahead.
want from Chiesa is to emulate his father. If you know his father,
Was the center
his
forward?
center forward, and he was one of the most underrated forwards they've seen in football. If you see
Yeah.
if you watch his Enrico Chiesa's game, he did exactly like what Chiesa does, but also inside the box too. Left foot, right foot, headers, everything you want, and like during the 90s, and you don't see anybody talk about it, which is funny. Nobody remembers Enrico Chiesa if you haven't been alive in the 90s and watching him play.
I just saw the title, Aaron Ramsey apologist.
Oh yeah,
I was trying to keep a straight face because you are from Wales, so
I
yeah.
am.
that's funny.
Yeah, I apologize on behalf of my nation for his absence.
Well, the thing is, I'll ask you a quick question on Ramsey. Like, is there like like a legend or something in Wales that you guys do to him every time he comes back for the national team? Because like every time he comes for Wales, like Ramsey looks like
He
he's just got
scores.
a complete new lease on life.
I don't know what it is, honestly. Like when I was going to say when he was injured, but that was pretty much his entire Juve career.
Yeah.
But I remember he was not playing for Juventus, and then he was immediately starting for Wales, and I think he scored. It was either two or he had a hat trick in the. I think it was like qualifying for the World Cup at the time, and everyone was obviously rightfully so suspicious and annoyed at him. But I just don't think like I
I
remember
remember
we
that.
signed him the summer where Allegri left and we had Sarri.
Hmm.
And at the time, I was thinking like, oh, surely he'd probably be quite good and fit into like an Allegri style system. But then,
Yeah.
the news broke that we let him go. We got Sarri in, and then I kind of felt like we'd signed this player who, he was always like on the peripheral for Arsenal. He wasn't like, a dedicated starting 11 player, but he'd come on and, he'd provide. He
Hmm.
makes like some clever sort of like forward plays, but more often than not, he can't last 90 minutes or, you know, half a season even, just because like he's not that way
Quarter of a
inclined anymore.
season,
Yeah.
let's say.
But like I think I don't know, I don't really know what it is with Wales. I think it's because we're such like an underdog nation. There's only 3 million people in the entire country. I think like there's just this pressure that he can
You have to
rise to the
deliver.
occasion. Yeah, you have to do it. It's the same with Bale as well. Granted, World Cup we were rubbish, but looking back to that Euro 2016, we made it far further than
Hmm.
we ever thought we could. But
Didn't
I
you get
think like
farther than England? No, in that
They
Euro.
knock. I believe they knocked England
I think
out. No, that was
Yeah, you
yeah,
guys
well,
knocked England
I
off.
think I think we were in the same group as England. We did lose to them. Shame. So basically, everyone in Britain hates England. Scotland hate
Of
England.
course.
Ireland hate England. Wales hate England. So it's just like a healthy
Yeah,
rivalry here. But we did
very
lose to
healthy.
them. Yeah, but we did get further than them. We got knocked out by Portugal, who went on to win it. So
Yeah.
getting knocked out by the winners is pretty. It's not a
Okay.
bad way to go out, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think yeah, they just rise to the occasion much more, which is frustrating. I'd say I support Juventus first, and then I'll follow Wales, obviously. But even from a Welsh supporter's perspective, it was getting on my nerves how he could perform at such a good level for the national team, and then yet he's not even on the bench for Juventus. I don't know if that was a coach's decision where maybe there's nowhere for him to fit.
I remember back then it was Pirlo, maybe it was Pirlo season.
Yeah.
He was injured,
Yeah.
and then he came back. And they said clearance about his medical, like he will train. He trained, and then it was international break. He went, he scored goals, came back, and he was injured immediately.
Maybe he tripped in the
How?
airport. You know, these
He
things
tripped
happen.
on his luggage at home or something, and just
I
I don't
remember
know
the
what he did.
first game. I think it's in the, the All or Nothing documentary on Amazon as well, where our first game,
Sampdoria.
I think, yeah, I think Ramsey started and he had,
Yeah.
was it like 2 assists or something? Like everyone was like praising him, saying like, "Oh, what has Pirlo done to Aaron Ramsey? You know,
Yeah,
he's
him
turned
and
him into."
Fabrota.
I think
Yeah, like
he
they
did
they were
one
great
assist
that
that
game.
game. Yeah, that
Yeah.
because I remember it was Kulusevski with the first
Mhm.
Yeah, first
the
goal.
first goal, I think.
And then
Then
Ronaldo got a
Ronaldo
brace.
assisted. I don't
Yeah,
know if it
because
was an assist or a goal because I
I think it
remember
was. I
he
think he had a
was.
brace. I think Ronaldo had a brace.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was
Ronaldo had the brace. So
was it
one of
like
them
one of the
was Ramsey
first
assisting it.
few seasons where Ronaldo scored in the opening game? Because he's always like a slow starter, isn't he? He's like
Yeah.
famously known to not score that
It
first
was
few
Pirlo's
games.
season that he was going fast.
Yeah.
That he started scoring for the first 3 months a lot, and then slowed down the end of
Yeah.
the season. During that season, that the part that we needed him a lot, but then he came out clutch against Udinese, for example. If you guys remember that game, we were losing. He brought, how many times he saved our ass? Let's be honest. Like
True.
that Pirlo season, everybody's fun. Oh, Pirlo did this, Pirlo did that. We won a Super Coppa freaking friendly trophy and a Coppa Italia. Great. We won a Coppa Italia. Okay, with a team that was designed to win the Scudetto.
I was gonna say, don't let Dybala Alexi hear you say that. She'll lose her mind.
And it's not just her. There's a lot of communities and
I-
stuff. Oh,
I
no,
can't.
let's not be
The thing
stupid.
is, I can't believe that that's actually a thing because, like, for example, we had Romeo Agresti here, and he's like, "Yeah, Pirlo was not good."
Yeah,
Like,
because
in short,
Yeah.
because tactically he is so flawed. He is immensely flawed, man. That's why he's still in a mid-table team in Turkey. Okay, he's still honing how to be tactically developed as a coach because he's not.
yeah,
Because
but he went on a 9-match undefeated streak. What are you talking about? He's the greatest coach ever.
I'm
I
wondering,
know they
like,
make fun of you. Yeah, undefeated. They make fun of Allegri because of the 7 game that he won 1-0 stuff,
know.
which is a lie. He
yeah.
won three games. He won 1-0. The others were all multiple goals. Anyway, let's not regress to Pirlo versus Allegri debate. I don't want to have enough of that. About Aaron Ramsey, how is he playing with Nice? He's in Nice, no?
I literally I haven't seen any of the games. I just see what he posts on Instagram, and it's like, oh, tough game away. Next week we move on. Like I don't know how
They're
they're doing.
almost. I think they're like not relegated, but you know that edge where
the
Yeah,
worst.
they're fighting for it, aren't they?
I feel bad for him because last year he got subbed in the final for the Europa League final with Rangers and misses that penalty, and I was just like,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He pretty much cost them the
The first-
the
Europa
cup.
League.
I think it's the
Yeah, well,
first European
you're welcome,
trophy
guys.
for
You're welcome.
Rangers. I
Yeah,
think it was like the first European trophy for Rangers in, I don't know, 60 years, 50 years or something. So they were gonna break their curse, and then he did
Well,
what he does.
you've got like the whole Aaron Ramsey sort of superstition curse.
Oh yeah,
The
he
was it
kills
every
people,
time he
no?
scores, a celebrity dies, isn't it? So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
he saved someone that day if you look at it that way.
So Bones wants you to say, so he's saying, being from Wales, can you say that long town name?
I cannot. No. This is going to be really disappointing, but I'm from South Wales, where most people speak English as their first language. Granted, I learned Welsh in school, but I lived very close to the school, and my Welsh lesson was always my last but one lesson, so I'd skip school and go home early. So I have no
Okay.
qualifications in Welsh
I gotcha.
at all.
I get you.
So
That's all right. It's fine. Bones will go
Yeah.
cry in a corner,
Like,
but
but
it's all right. No
honestly,
biggie.
where is the what's the name? Not the vowels in Welsh. Like they put a lot
weird
of
noises.
consonants and then
Yeah.
one e and then a lot of like wwv ww and then there is an a at the end. Like, what is this?
There's
A
a lot.
website?
There's a yeah. There's a lot of double D's and double L's. and then there'll be like
Yeah.
double L with like a W and then a Y, and then
Yeah.
it literally looks like as if someone's cat has walked over their keyboard.
Exactly.
And
It's like you
that's how
slam.
I think that's how they name towns in Wales.
You
Definitely.
had the Americans at double D's.
Mm.
But
I see what you did.
so anyways, folks, I do have the phone lines open so you guys can join in. You don't need to show your face. If you're comfortable showing your face, you can. So if you want to join in on the conversation, this is some call-in talk Juve. We'll talk about anything, talk about everything. We can talk about Juve if you guys in the chat have something in particular you want to ask us. Shoot some questions there. Gaetano coming in saying, "Hey guys, Ramsey out. I'm joking." Bones wants to know, does he play golf with Bale? Does Ramsey play
wonder.
golf with Bale?
I
I
know
don't
like
know.
I've seen pictures of him. There's another Welsh player. I think he's recently retired from the national team called Chris Gunter, who I've seen him and Ramsey playing golf together. So I wouldn't be surprised if they all meet up. Maybe they will have like a Welsh national golfing team instead. We might be better at that. Who knows? Ramsey always plays with Nice.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know what it was. I think like have you seen his leg break of what's like spurred on all these injuries ever since? Like his leg got annihilated when he was playing for Arsenal. So
Mhm.
it's a credit to still be playing at a high level. But I always thought I think it's, kind of defending him in a way, being a fellow Welshman, but he he got offered a contract by Juventus. Who's going to say no to that? It's not
Yeah,
really
and
Of
his fault,
course.
is it?
it's not his
No.
fault. Like
It's
we
Paratici's fault.
It's Paratici's fault.
Paratici was the idiot there, giving him an
Yeah.
8 million year contract
He was like
for
the
Aaron
highest paid
Ramsey.
British athlete or something.
Yeah,
It
he
was
was on 8
ridiculous.
million plus bonuses.
Yeah, like
Insanity. Like no, to all respect to Ramsey and his career, but 8 million for
he's not
him.
worth that. Like I'll go out
Yeah.
and say like he's not worth 8 million at
Yeah.
all.
As I say, Paratici was so dumb that that England was like, wow, they paid one of our kind that much? Holy smokes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like fair enough if you went to Man City
Yeah.
and you're an English player who gets bought by a Premier League team, you're paying a premium, aren't you? And everyone
yeah,
gets inflated so much. Like Jack Grealish, I failed to see how he was worth the money he is
100
worth.
million pound. Yeah,
It's
how? What does he
you want
do?
to know what it was? It was 50 million per calf.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
But no, honestly, but I know that their transfer value is inflated, but I don't know how much their wages are. I haven't looked at it.
No, that's a good point.
It depends on the team. It depends on the
I mean,
team,
like
to be honest
Harry
with you.
Maguire, 80 million to Man United. Need I say more?
I was gonna say
Yeah,
It's like,
well, you're
it's
paying
their
for
curse.
memes. You're paying for the memes. You're paying for the
You're
memeable
paying for the
content. It's
jokes, for
marketing.
do you
Yeah.
think
he
like
is an entertainment.
I reckon all the other teams in the Premier League just did a whip around and paid it because they know he'll score goals for them.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
Yeah,
And
pooled
then
the
it's
money.
Man United is like, how can we market our brand more because we don't really care about winning anymore? And they're like, let's
no.
sign Maguire because he'll be viral every week.
Everything. Today too, he was atrocious, but luckily Wolves were bad.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they actually
let's go.
won today, didn't they?
So
Period.
we have a question here from Anthony Aguchi saying Pirlo desert. Yeah, I can't read today. Pirlo definitely should have been fired. Allegri should have been dismissed after our shameful performance versus Benfica in the Allianz, and I stand by that all year. That's what a serious club would have done. Well, it kind of
No,
Bayern and Chelsea did that, and look where they went.
a
Yeah,
serious
true.
club would evaluate at the end of the year and do repercussions at the end of the year and then fix the problem there. A
Do you guys
serious club.
think that obviously, like the big talk online is always the manager, but Juventus have such a problem, the hierarchy is well, it's like a
Yes,
placeholder
it
sort of
doesn't. Yeah,
position
it
at the
doesn't
minute.
exist. It doesn't
No.
exist. Yeah.
There is no hierarchy at the
So
moment. It's
I think like
CFO. That's it.
yeah, I mean, I think I'm looking more forward to seeing what we do with the higher ups during
Yeah.
the off season rather than the players themselves, especially with like,
Yeah.
all these allegations and whatnot. And
Alfredo Pedula right now reports that Giuntoli didn't go to the ADL dinner meeting they were doing to plan of
yeah,
next year of renewing Spalletti and which guys to take and stuff. He wasn't present because he is forcing his move and his contract to be terminated with Napoli so that he joins us.
That's easy. Just tell De Laurentiis' movies suck. Boom, fired.
Yeah, boom, fired. Yeah, I think he would sue him too. So then I don't know what will happen. He goes to
So
prison.
the thing is like for example, there's really rare instances where you fire somebody. For example, when you fire somebody, and it just for me, I don't like firing coaches mid-season. It's never been a
Never,
Juve thing. I don't believe it ever will. And
and you
it's
never
just
do it.
you don't do it unless the person that you're bringing in is a clear, definite upgrade. Because, like for example, with Nagelsmann and Tuchel,
Yeah.
like Bayern just absolutely took a nosedive. Like
Would you
they
take? So I can't continue.
go ahead,
Continue.
go ahead, no, go.
I was saying, like, did you see the latest rumor that Julian Nagelsmann's transfer signing with Tottenham is cancelled fully? Like he was one step to Tottenham, and now it's fully donezo.
Yeah, because he
Because
wanted to save his career.
yeah, so my eyes are now like popping. He is a June Tory type of manager. Anyway, I wish we can get him, but I don't. I've never seen Juve get a foreign manager other than Deschamps.
Yeah, it's Juve is one of those where they have to because like I know a lot of people were asking me about Iglitari and Juventus, and I was like, I don't see Juve putting a board that's non-Italian. So,
No, I
so
can't.
I just for them like Juve
No,
directors and all that, it's Italian coaches, it's Italian again. Like the only time we've ever seen it is Deschamps, but that was because Deschamps was a former player at some point with Juve. So it's like one of those things. Like, yeah, we'll go for it. But yeah. Gaetano
I think
wants. Go ahead.
yeah, I think now that you're getting somebody outside of the company that he can decide. Also, looking at Napoli, did they even Napoli also when he was there, they didn't bring a foreign coach. No, it was all
No,
Italian.
all Italian.
It, Sarri,
Ancelotti,
Ancelotti,
Gattuso,
Gattuso, and
Spalletti.
Spalletti, all Italian,
Yep.
but different type of football, but all Italian.
Yeah. Correct.
I think like the Italians like to stay in Italy as well, don't they? The coaches really,
Exactly.
I don't know, they don't like to move abroad, really, do they? Unless it's
But
like Premier League, which is probably for the money more than
Benitez.
anything.
Benitez was
Benitez
13, 14,
failure.
15. It was what was
Yeah,
he? Third was he 11, 12 to 13, 14? Because he came in as or Benitez was there as Guntoli was coming in.
I think so. Let me check. Benitez Napoli.
Because Guntoli was what 2011, 2012. Benitez
No, he
was
was Giuntoli was 2015-16, starting from there.
okay. Let's check that real quick because that's actually a good thing that he's mentioned here. Anthony brought up a good point because Benitez was there, but I don't know how long Benitez was there for.
No, he was at the same season. Apparently, he was Napoli from 2013 to 2015. So as soon as the first year of Giuntoli joining, he was already done. So they left.
So
He
okay, so
separated.
he wasn't a Giuntoli guy, and then he
No,
went to
no.
Newcastle. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So we looked that up. Gaetano wants to know in Wales, does everybody play rugby? Do you play it?
I think most people play rugby. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there was a poll. I think it was around like 2016, 2017, where actual football took over as the most popular sport in Wales. But I think
That's
now
interesting.
it's pretty much neck and neck again.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So, and then looking at some more questions here. So, we're talking about Guntoli here. So, Gaetano and Oscar are talking about Guntoli. So, thoughts about Guntoli. Personally, I have no idea if he's good or bad. So, Guntoli in about 5 to 6 years, and especially with frugal spending from De Laurentiis, I think he built a pretty good project. I mean, obviously now that he's leaving, so you're not going to see, legacy wise, could this just be the one
No.
Scudetto after a while? But the thing is like for me, like I've always said this, like I've always been curious to see Giuntoli. I've always been curious to see Iglitare at clubs that actually have financial
Money.
capability.
Yeah.
That have the money that will let you do that. Um, the thing that I really, really kind of admire of Giuntoli is his scouting department, which he's bringing with him in a sense, his head scout. So
Hmm.
that's what I'm really appreciative to see because
He's
again,
not
right?
bringing Michele. He's not bringing his chief scout.
I thought he
He's
was.
bringing Pompelli. He is a director basically. He's right hand man director, but the chief of scouts is Michele, and IDL is fighting over that he wants to keep his head scout.
I get
He needs his head scout with him. So
He
that's
does.
why
He does.
that's why it's
Yeah.
not even finished yet with the discussion and stuff. That's why they want Juve wants Gentoli right now to be at the club at this second. The contract, everything is ready, but they are fighting over this one person, which is very major, honestly.
I think it is, especially with the direction that Juventus wants to go. Because, you know, if we look at Juve overall history-wise, like Juve's always bought in players that are, you know, not at the cusp of their powers, but near the cusp of their powers. Where Juve's trying to get those players that haven't really gotten to the cusp of their powers quite yet. Like for example, you're looking at like players that have the potential to be great but haven't gotten there yet. That's what you've looked at some of the recent purchases. But yeah, it would just be interesting because like if we get a scout, I'm not saying that we're going to find another
Vara, okay.
Cavara, and if anything, guys, like Cavara, he could just absolutely fizzle out after this season too. So it's like jury's still loose on
He
him.
hasn't scored or assisted in, I don't know, 11 games now, 12
11,
games now in
yeah.
all comps, because you double up on him and that's it. Anyway,
Yeah,
It all depends if his scout comes with him because, like, granted, the players he's found for Napoli, like, no one had heard of them before they blew up this season, isn't it? So, like, you're going to have some sort of, I don't know,
you know
potential, like, wonder
who
kids.
actually, you know who actually was close to Kim Min Jae and bought Kvara back 2 summers ago? Paratici.
Oh,
Because
wow.
Paratici was a great head of scout. He would scout players. But the issue with Paratici as a sporting director is
he
his
didn't know the
decision
money. Yeah.
making
Yeah.
is garbage. He needs somebody to hold his hand throughout it.
Yeah, and this comment literally illustrates it perfectly. So he's like, I didn't think of Maratta before he came, but he did well at Sampdoria, but Juve is different animal. Guntoli. So here's what I kind of want to talk about this comment. We'll go to some of the comments that came in before. So at Sampdoria, Maratta was the sporting director, and his chief scout was Paratici. So those two, again, Paratici is an incredible scout. He knows how to look at youngsters or good potentials, but like he just sucks at the contract negotiation and money.
Yeah.
But the
And
funny,
building the team.
yeah,
And building. Like
and the
he gets
funny,
the best talents, but he doesn't know. Like he gets 3 right wingers because they're the best ones there, but it doesn't make the team.
yep. And the funny thing is that I always found this, and I'm not saying, you know, I'm not trying to get some tinfoil hats here going, but the last sporting director Juve got from Napoli was Moji.
I said that
Ooh.
I know. It was when Luciano Moggi created that team for Napoli to win their 2 Scudettos. After that, he fought with the president, like kind of argued and stuff, where the president shown him out, and then he joined Juventus and started the dynasty.
Yep. And then kind of moving back over here. So he's kind of talking. Oh, Gaetano's talking about Fratesi. Do you guys like Fratesi because he scored against Inter?
I like him. I think
he's
as a Rabiot replacement, he's one of the candidates I could look for.
Yeah.
But
only problem is his
honestly, I've
price.
told you,
His
the
price
perfect
bothers me.
the price 30, 35, it's too much. I would not pay that much for a Fratesi. I would rather go for the Udinese player, Samazic, who's also like young but extremely physical and technical at the same time.
Part of me would do this. Like, I wish we could, but is there a way that we could get Fratese on a discount if we were to send Moretti there on a loan?
You cannot. You have to sell him.
No, I understand, but like if we're able to offer them Moretti as a loan replacement, if they're able to take a little, I know Sassuolo's not going to do that because Sassuolo always like to overvalue players with us, but
Yeah.
I always thought maybe as a hypothetical, because I think if Moretti went on loan to Sassuolo, I think that would help his game out drastically.
It will, but only way we could do that, in my opinion, is to sell him with a buyback clause.
Yeah. Which we should do that, in my opinion, with a buyback clause, kind of like Real Madrid does with Brahim Diaz and all those guys. Yeah, they did it with us with Alvaro Morata at the time too.
Yeah, it screwed us so bad. Like Morata was growing and going to the right direction, and then they bought him back, and that ruined his career because they sold. I think he played one. He was riding bench the whole season there, and then they sold him for Chelsea, and
for like
that
70
destroyed him.
million. For
Yeah,
70 million.
I actually forgot he went to Chelsea. He was
Yeah, he was so bad.
really,
You know?
really unremarkable, wasn't he?
Conte wanted him so bad, and then he's saying, "Nah, this is not his first year. Allegri's last year at Juve should have been Ronaldo's first year. I love Allegri, but he doesn't have solutions on the field." My thing is this year or this iteration of Juve, outside of Pogba, who do you have players that can really create solutions right now?
Di Maria,
Yeah.
when he was okay, like when he was fit and in the right state, he also, like, it's Pogba, Di Maria. Chiesa, post injury, is not the same player anymore. So Allegri's solutions depends on based on the players he has, and you've seen our players. Can they do 3 passes correctly? Can they do passes in space properly? No. Simple answer. Most of them they cannot. So they need somebody to hold their hand, like idiot number 1, idiot number 2. You give him here, you give him there. Idiot number 3, you pass him here, you come here and stuff. Like,
You
you need
know,
somebody like that.
the thing is, and this is where I kind of want to talk about like coaching styles of an Allegri, of an Ancelotti, of a
Of
Zidane,
a Conte,
a Conte.
even.
Like for example, coaches like that really more so are, I'm going to focus on the defensive solidity. I'm going to tell you how to play defense where you need to play defense, but offensively, I want you to make plays.
You do whatever you want.
Is it the
Yeah,
best solution? I'm not saying it's the best solution, but like for example, when you say like Allegri doesn't have solutions on the field, that's also more so his players don't know what to do. Because like for example, I'm an old man and I'm telling a young kid how to walk. Almost. That's how those coaches' philosophies are. Like, you're the footballer. I'm not telling you how to play football. You know how to play football. Like, my dad always made this argument for Real Madrid where I'm like, why don't Real Madrid get like a tactical genius for them? He's like, why would they need
no
him?
way.
Why would they need a
Look,
tactical coach? He said,
Yeah.
or like a genius coach, like a Guardiola. Like a Guardiola would never fit at Real Madrid because my dad would say this. He's like, all of those players know how to play. He's like, the coach is just there to get them in the right spot. You don't need to teach them how to do things. And that's kind of like that lineage of coaching that Allegri has come from, where it's like, for example, you look at Jurgen Klopp, you look at Pep Guardiola, you look at even De Zerbi. De Zerbi tells them, you need to be here, you need to do this, you need to go here, you need to do this. Remember Maurizio Sarri, folks? Like, Maurizio Sarri was super picky on where they needed to be, how they needed to be there. Chiellini was commenting on it saying, it makes no sense to me, but we're going to try to follow it in
and they didn't
translation.
follow it. That's the
They didn't.
problem. At the end of
No.
the day, when you have players with egos, which we had, and we still have some of them, you cannot have a controlling coach, a system coach, because their personality will be like, no, I don't want to do this, and then you have to sell a lot of players. You know, that's the idea. That's the problem you have with a big club and playing in a sort of way, compared to Sassuolo or a Brighton, that you follow what the coach wants. You don't like it, ship off, or you adapt to what the coach wants. Now, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine. And the thing is like, and it's kind of like, and I just saw one of the comments, it's like this really ugly marriage in a sense where you have a coach that kind of coaches in a sense where it's like, I want you to do what you do, but at the same time, the players just don't have the capabilities of doing what they're doing. Because like, for example, Pep Guardiola, whenever Pep Guardiola loses a crucial match, it's always usually because Pep Guardiola doesn't instruct his players well. Because he always does a weird formation change, a weird lineup, or a weird adjustment.
Yeah,
I think that is literally the Achilles heel of every Pep Guardiola coach side. I think
he
every single time
overthinks it. No,
he overthinks it, and the players players can't react. Like for example, let's use last season Champions League with Real Madrid, Manchester City. He pulls off he puts off a midfielder for another player, and then switches Joe Cancelo on the left side. Carvajal beats him the first time and gets the equalizer. And then Guardiola, and you would think that Cancelo would say, maybe I should watch my side a little bit better. Nope. Carvajal attacks the same spot again.
another one.
And it's the same thing, like, for example, with the Jurgen Klopp team. Like, for example, let's talk about the final with Liverpool. I put money that Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to concede a goal against Vinny Jr. Against that side. What happened, Vinny? He lost Vinny in the sauce. He was looking somewhere else, lost Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr.
Bang.
takes it and score. Bang. Because the thing is, and here's the thing about playing beautifully sometimes comes at the expense of being dumb.
Winning. Yeah.
In a sense, because like for example, De Zerbi teams, like for example, let's use De Zerbi at Brighton. They win really good, but they also lose very bad because there's no plan B. There never is a
Yeah.
plan B with these coaches. For example, why was Allegri from 2015 to 2018-19? Why was Allegri one of the hardest teams to scheme against? Because Allegri didn't have a scheme. He let his players decide the scheme. For example,
He would, you know
go
what
ahead.
he would do? Basically, that's why everybody that understands a lot and are experts in football loved him back then, because he would change. He wouldn't change player for player. He would change the responsibility of the players by putting other players. Remember that game against Tottenham, that we tied the first leg and then we won at the Spurs with White Hart Lane, 2-1.
Yeah.
Just a simple change. We put Quadrado and Asamoah and Lichtsteiner as wing back. So we overloaded the mid because we had the midfielders plus wing backs. We didn't have, so they were covering more space. So they were attacking space in a different way with a different characteristics, which created chances for made more space in the middle. That Dybala exposed that. If you remember, Dybala and Higuain had tons of space in the middle because they had overloads on the right and left. So they broke Pochettino up, and that was the tactical genius of Allegri back then.
Yeah,
Right now, he doesn't have players that
who can
can
do
do that stuff. Yeah, that they can do that. So the perfect way, honestly, to end all of this, because we don't have. I wish we had the financial powers to fix it. We do not have the financial powers to give him that options. It seems like we need a coach that comes, trains them day to day on how to be a proper high level footballer.
which to me isn't really a Juve thing.
It's not a Juve
It's
thing
not a Juve thing.
because we usually have money. We usually have financial, like we have finances to bring players that do that already. But with the current shambles in Italian football and stuff, no money, then you have to revert to like a mid-table Moneyball philosophy.
Yeah. And you hit it right on the nail too about what he did, because like for example, if you look at look at the midfields that he had at the time. You have again, like for example, you have Vidal, you have Marquisio, you had Pirlo, you have Pogba that one season. Following
MVP.
season. Yeah, and then the following season you have Marquisio, you have Pogba, and you have Khedira.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next season after that, you had Miralem Pjanic, you had Khedira, you
Khedira,
had
Marquisio again
Marquisio
last
again.
season,
And then you had
and then you
even
had
Mandzukic,
Matuidi,
and then you had Matuidi.
Pjanic, Khedira mix with
Yeah,
Sturaro coming on and stuff, and a very young Bentancur.
Yep. So it's
Yeah.
like you look at it, and then also on the offensive line, like for example, we troll Higuain. A lot of people troll Higuain, but Higuain was one of the most intelligent strikers out there as a number 9.
was complete.
He was
He was, yeah, he was so good. And I
he
just think people like
his
forgot that
negatives.
very quickly.
His negatives outweighed his positives. That's the one thing.
100%.
100% there. And then like for example, Dybala's interesting. His situation was always interesting to me because like for example, he had the world at his fingertips, but then he decided to play off the right side of the field instead of staying centrally. That to me was the one thing that always just ended Dybala's climb to stardom. I don't know why, but for me, I feel like he bought into the Messi hype and then tried to emulate Messi in a sense.
I think because he wanted to do the easy thing, which is come from the right, cut it to the left, and then curl it to the far post, which was his trademark thing. But before, what was good with Dybala, even though he was very left-footed, was back in 15, 16, 16, 17, he would cut from the middle and can go a bit to the right and then curl it, or from the left and bang it from to the far post and stuff. Like he was everywhere at the same time. But then he became more, I don't know, like he wanted to do the easy way, which is just come from the right, cut it, and then curl it. Lazy, in my opinion.
Yeah, extremely single dimensional. We have a question again. Is there currently a Welsh left back or right back that we should get? I think he's asking that to you, Tom.
Don't you have that kid Ramsey?
I'd say going from what we've seen in the World Cup, no. It's a really
Yeah.
blunt answer. I went to Turin last year and I saw Juve play against Venezia, and Ethan Ampadu was playing for Venezia, and he had a really
Uh-huh.
good game. So I think he can play like centre back or defensive mid, but I
He's
think
playing
he's
with
still
Spezia.
owned. Yeah, he's with Spezia this year now. I think he's still owned by Chelsea, I'm gonna say.
Yes, yes, he
But
is.
he's really, really good. I think we're kind of running in line with, like the EPL sort of side of it, where it's very attacking. You've got like Harry Wilson, who's I think he plays on the wing for Wales now, but it's all quite quick and attacking. You've got like Daniel James, who's very fast again, but the
He's the
the
winger, no?
defensive,
That
yeah,
James.
winger. But I wouldn't really rate any of the defense for Wales. Like you've got Ben Davis, but he's past his best anyway. Plays
Yeah,
for
and
Spurs, so
Ampadu.
he's never gonna win anything because he plays for Spurs.
Yeah.
Simple as. My
Oh,
dad's a
that's
Spurs
funny.
supporter as well, so that's just like the
I'm
worst,
sad
really.
for him.
Yeah, me
Oh,
too.
I just, have you ever asked him like what got
Why?
him into
Why?
Spurs? Yeah, like why?
I think he said like when it was like the 50s or 60s, believe it or not, they were actually good at one point,
Yeah, and
and
they
he's
were
just
great.
holding on to that, But
Because like,
We will one day be back there.
yeah, because like
What was the guy?
Arsenal, I
J- J-
understand because like Terry Henry and like that era of
yeah,
Wenger and Terry, like I get that. Liverpool as well, but it's like I sit there, I'm just like out of recent likeness, like unless you were like a huge Luka Modric fan or something like that, like what really brings people to Spurs?
yeah, it's a weird one because Harry Kane will be remembered as like, he's going to be like their star player, isn't he? He's going
Yeah.
to be like a club legend, but I can't really think of any others.
Was
Like you
your
say, they
father
they move
watching it?
on.
Was your
Was he watching?
father watching it during the Jimmy Greaves era?
He must have been. To be fair, he doesn't ask me much about the Juventus stuff, so I purposely don't ask him too much about the Spurs
Ah,
stuff.
That's fair. That's
okay.
fair.
So it's like a healthy rivalry. He'll tease me that, oh, Juventus aren't doing very good, and I'm like, wait a minute, you support Spurs. You're literally
You're always not doing well.
yeah, you were
Gonna
just
say,
trying to be Juventus now. You have like our outcast players, you have our sporting director,
Outcast sporting director.
and
the
our
funny.
coaches.
Yeah, I was
It's
gonna
just like
say they had Mourinho and Conte and they couldn't win anything. Like that to me just
no,
is that's it.
And
You're done.
I've never
yeah.
seen a team coached by Conte and hasn't won a single title other than
Italy.
Yeah.
Spurs.
Gaetano
Oh,
says,
yeah.
in which position of the pitch would you buy new players for me? We have to buy 2 right wingers and a left-footed defender. So I think you and I kind of covered this at the beginning. But in summary, we need I would say 3, a decent wing back, a left-footed playing defender, and then a fast striker, a striker with pace.
If we're gonna sell Dushan, then yeah, we have to do that.
Yeah.
In my opinion, first priority, get fullbacks. My God, we need starting fullbacks. Let's start there, and then a left-footed ball playing center back. Okay, that's my 3 major ones. Then I can
Swear
look
we've been
for the
saying that
striker.
for about 5 years as well, though, haven't we?
Yeah,
We've been
It's
saying
just
that
since
ever since
every
we lost Danny
season.
since
Alves.
1920, I remember crying for a left back. 1920, then 2021, I was crying for a right back and the left back. Let's continue right back
Like
and left back, right back and left back.
I'd say like only in the last 6 or 7 years I've really got back into following football. Like I dropped off massively. Like as a kid, I supported Juventus. My grandparents used to go on cruises, and they came back with this black and white shirt and had Del
Mhm.
Piero on the back. And me being an 8-year-old, there's a channel that was only shown in Welsh, so you'd have to put like subtitles on, and it was on late at night called Scorio, which is Welsh for score.
Score.
And you could follow the Serie A on there, but that was the only way you could watch it in Wales. So then I remember having like FIFA 99 and then
Oh
checking
yeah,
out this player on the back of my shirt,
Oh.
and turns out it was Del Piero, and I was like,
Piero.
oh, this guy's like the best guy in the game. So then I
Yeah,
just
he's
followed
on
them
the
ever
cover.
since, Yeah, it was amazing. But I fell off for a while, and then I came back to it when we signed Higuain, because I saw this news article saying, record transfer purchase by
Mm.
Juventus for this player, and I was like, oh, I vaguely remember him from the World Cup where he missed that penalty, and you
Yeah,
know, He like bombed it for Argentina.
He
Nightmare.
bombed a
So
lot
that,
at that final.
You
But
know, they
then
could have
I
won back-to-back Copa Americas if Higuain knew how to convert a penalty.
I
Yeah,
know.
That would have been that would have been Spain level dominance because
was-
they would have won Copa,
yeah.
World Cup, and another Copa.
But
You know,
like
that
ever
was
since
like
that, I just picked it back up, and ever
Yeah.
since I've been absolutely addicted to it.
you know that's the Achilles heel of Pipita's career. Like
Mhm.
in the biggest moments, in the biggest games, he does mistakes.
Yeah.
He did mistakes. Yeah, I've been following
Remember?
Juve. I've been following Juve since 2000, like continuously since 2006. But I was a fan before, not a lot, but 2006 with the curler from Del Piero, it just ingrained in my mind.
I remember when Higuain, when he went to Inter Miami, and there was that video circulating on social media. I think like loads of Juventus pages posted it, like that free kick he scored.
Mm.
Remember, like, he
Mhm.
absolutely just blasted it. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh, why didn't he take any of our free kicks? Like he never did he?
no,
From what I
because we
remember.
had Pjanic and
Pjanic.
Dybala,
This is a good
who
point.
had
Yeah,
like top percentage
they
in
were like,
Europe. Like, they
do
were
you know where
converting
Pjanic
a
is
lot of
these
them.
days?
Somewhere in
Turkey.
Turkey.
It's not Pirlo's team though, is it?
No, he's in Besiktas, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which,
That's cool. He's still playing though.
part of me is like, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't make an attempt just to bring him back as a bench player.
Like, because
I think they tried.
he loves
Remember?
Juventus as well, doesn't he? He quite openly says it on social media.
Because, like,
how
think
much
about
he-
it. Like, I would have rather had him than Paredes.
They tried to get him
Yeah.
the same year of Locatelli. Remember?
Mhm.
People were crying, he's finished. But maybe he would have gave a bit more and helped the team a lot more last season than what happened.
Yeah,
With
and
Kenny
then
and
He
stuff.
could just
we
make
could
a
have
pass, couldn't he?
sold him for another Plus Valenza and lost 30 points for it.
Yeah, brilliant.
So this is gonna be fun. Can I point out I think he's saying how depressed I will be if Inter pull off a Champions League when quite the worst squad to win it in Liverpool. See, the thing is like for me, so if City wins against Real Madrid and lose to Inter, I don't ever want to hear Pep Guardiola being touted as the best tactician in the world if he gets outsmarted by Simone Inzaghi.
No. I would hate his guts.
I would do. But
Could you imagine?
oh my goodness.
I don't want to imagine that. Imagine them when winning their fourth and in a shitty season that they've lost 11 times in the league.
And then the funny thing is like how I don't know if it was a Gravina thing or a Sheffrin thing, but how the hell did the Italian teams get the easiest draws in the Champions League this year?
It was his. He became vice president before that quarterfinal draw.
Like how did
Magic.
that happen? How did that happen? I've never
probably-
seen 3 Italian teams on one side of a bracket before.
During our heyday, I wouldn't see an Italian team in the quarterfinals other than us. Only one time it was Roma. Remember in the 18-19 season, one time where they should have beaten Liverpool, and honestly, if you remember that game, they got robbed in a hilarious way. Like they should have passed that even and went to the final, then lost because I don't want an Italian team to win before us. But the point stands. Other than them, never did we have this luck. If we had this luck, we would steamroll to the final all the time.
Oh, I know. Because I'm looking at it, because like you look at AC Milan, who did AC Milan play? Tottenham and then Napoli.
And Napoli.
And then I'm starting to think that Napoli's kind of a wash once everyone figured out how to play Kvara.
We should at least have drawn against them, for example. That game at home. Fagioli's mistake. But anyway.
Yeah, and then the funny thing is you look at Inter's road to the final as well too. Porto and Benfica, and Benfica decided to stop playing in the second half of the season.
Yeah, and they sold Enzo Fernandez, which was their player, their most key player. They sold in the middle of the season and didn't replace him. And then, man.
And then Napoli as well, they played Frankfurt in the first round too. So it's like, you look at that, and then it's like, for example, you look at PSG, you look at Bayern, you look at City, you look at all those guys.
Chelsea got Real Madrid. No?
Yeah. Like they're all like, for example, Manchester City's bracket was insane because it's like, for example, they played Bayern and then Bayern, who then played against PSG previously. Like it must have sucked to be Bayern Munich. I'm not gonna lie,
Mhm.
but and then
But
it's like, yeah,
PSG was so easy for them. Remember?
yeah, and then and it was funny because Delit was talking all that trash too. He's like, "Look at me, goal line clearance. Look how an amazing defender I am." Loses 3-0 to Man City.
Yeah, some
Mm.
humble pie went his way
I
pretty
you know
quick.
Delit always irritated me, and like a lot of people are like, "Well, what? Why do you care? He's just calling out obviouses that our club standards have gone down." I'm like, dude, like he didn't accomplish anything. Like that
No.
was one of the things when he was with us. Like Bremer beat him for the best defender of the year title. I don't think Delict won a Serie A defender of the season at all.
He must have had like the award for like most handballs in his first season.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was atrocious the first season. I
Oh
remember
god,
that very
it
well.
was so
Second season, he
bad.
was better with Pirlo, a lot better with Allegri. But yeah, then he won championship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
And
didn't really accomplish it. Like he didn't live up to the potential I think we'd all
no,
expected from him.
no, I
But
think he's
then
a
I think
I think he's a middle of the road center back. Like same thing with Van Dyke. Like Van Dyke had that one great season, and then after that, like nothing.
yeah.
It's just I've never thought of Dutch defenders as like elite defenders, and even like, for example, if Hernandez wasn't hurt this season, I don't think Delit would have gotten as much playing time as he has,
No way, no
No.
way he would have played
which would have
because
been ironic.
that's the starter. Hernandez was the starter.
Yeah,
I've got
Luka.
a good feeling about Bremer though. I feel like he's going to be strong for years and years.
If
You
we're
know?
gonna play in 3-man backline, I believe we have one of the best defenders. If we're gonna play in backline, just sell him.
I
He
feel like
he doesn't. He
I'm
cannot adapt. We gave him a lot of chance at Juventus at the big club. He doesn't. He cannot adapt. He is too aggressive and too physical to play with 2-man because he's gonna leave the other guy alone. He needs
yeah.
3-man is where he explodes, in my opinion.
I feel like I think Dash, you made this comment saying, I think it was about Delict though, saying like, if you get paid this much and you've been bought for this much, I think it was for the national team where he said he didn't want to play because he
yeah,
didn't
he
want to
didn't
play in
want
a
to play in a
certain
back three.
formation.
He didn't
And
want
it's
to play in
like,
a back
Yeah,
three.
I want to
you're
play
meant
as
to
a
be
back
like
two.
one of the best defenders. Adapt, learn. You're a professional.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is what
Eh,
training
That's
is
what
for.
that's what Bremer said during his conference. Remember when he came when we bought him? Like back four, I will try to learn playing it.
Hmm.
He tried, he failed. Okay, so either we adapt, like he is trying to adapt, but I don't think he's succeeding in adapting.
I think he's
There's-
working on it. I think Bremer's working on that back two in secret per se. It's just, again, right now the best thing to do is to run him in a back three. But I would say maybe in 2 or 3 years there's a chance that he could go, because if he really wants to feature for Brazil, he's got to learn the
he's have-
back two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because my issue with Bremer is the technical ability of him to play as a back two is very under what it should be.
No,
On
I
the ball, he is chaotic. Like it's like watching worse Kellini. Kellini on the ball, how bad he was. Like even worse than him. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
he's only 26. I think he has room to grow.
I hope so. We need
Especially
somebody.
like, yeah, as a centre back. But
Yeah, they tend to peak
late
out a little bit
20s, isn't
longer.
it?
Yeah. Because the thing is, like, for example, with me, and what irritated me with Delit was, like, again, 85 million for a guy that wasn't even where he was supposed to be. It's like he was good, but again, he wasn't like the best defender. Like, for example, at least with Van Dyke, they paid 85 million. He was explosive until he got hurt, and then now he's an absolute meme with how many times he gets his ankles broken. But for me, that's the thing that always irritated me about Delit, where it's like he's just not that dude. And then when you put him under pressure, he'd always make a stupid mistake, give up a stupid penalty, do stupid challenges and stuff.
Stupid stuff. A lot of stupid stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, he was always like he'd frustrate you right when you needed him to just win the ball.
Be the man. Yeah.
Yeah, he'd never quite live up to it. I think like having Chiellini behind you, and like even if he wasn't playing because he was injured or whatnot, just knowing that you've got this defensive master like
Yeah.
nearby. Well, not critique. I don't know if would he
Not
critique him?
helping him, like holding his hand throughout it. Honestly,
Yeah.
if you remember the games of De Ligt, the best games were when he was paired with Chiellini, when Chiellini was
Yeah.
available. as
It's
a
like he's got a
left, and he
mentor
was on the
next to
right
him.
because he is comfortable as a right center back, not as a left center back. And every time
Yeah.
Bonucci is gonna play, Bonucci must play as a right center back, and he has to go to the, and the whole complication starts.
Yeah. Alrighty, everybody. So I'm gonna answer a couple of these last chats before we go because we've hit the 2-hour mark. We have been going on for a long time, so we did hour of pregame and an hour of call-in. So I think that's good enough. I need a break too. I'm not as young
Yeah.
and spry as I used to be. So kind of going over here. So Dave's finalizing his comment saying World Cup final extra time is when Higuain had a chance to put him up front 1-on-1 and he absolutely botched it. Anthony saying, to be fair, as bad as Inter are, they beat Benfica solidly. We got thrashed. Benfica, I'm going to say this. Benfica, when we played them, were different when Benfica played Inter.
Yeah, they were in form.
Really
they were
good.
Yeah, they were.
and
were
they had
really
all the
good,
players
weren't they?
available with 0 injuries.
And then he
Against
says
Inter, they had a lot of
we
injuries.
probably would have lost to Porto or Napoli too. Tottenham. He's saying, the people we played in the round of 16, we might have lost. It's debatable. Agree to disagree. And then
Yeah.
Anthony is saying, Jobstrom best. Yeah, that true. He is
He
probably
was
the
Japstam
best.
was good, but in my opinion, it is the best Dutch center back was the one that failed as a coach at Barcelona before Xavi. He was an amazing
Hall.
center back, though.
Van Hal. No, Koeman.
Koeman. Exactly. My father talks about him all day.
Yeah, and
he always said like he never seen a center back.
I still think
like him.
I still think Xavi is an absolute bum of a coach. I think he's Pirlo 2.0, but people call me crazy.
He has some philosophies that are better, but
they're better. But I just don't see him as a big club coach yet because
they spent a lot. Look, they spent a lot, and they got knocked out of round of 32. They got knocked out of group stage. They knocked out of the Coppa del Rey.
Yeah.
Anyway, and they're winning the title. Good for them.
Like, congratulations for Real Madrid. Just didn't care this season. Like, that's honestly it. Like, that's it. They've won it. They've won it as much as we've won Serie A. I always find it ironic because everyone's like, yeah, Xavi's great. I'm like, Xavi's the reason why Barcelona is being held up right now. You need a better coach than Xavi. Xavi's still thinking in 2008, 2009.
Honestly, they would get, if they brought in Luis Enrique, they would
win. I think they would be.
Yeah.
I would think they'd be dominant, but
I
don't think so. I don't think they're going to. Anthony says, thanks for the show, guys. Forza Juve as always. And then Gucci says, Koeman was before his time. Alrighty, so that is the last comment. Anthony has the final say. I got to do the music because Dave usually plays the music. Dave's not here. He's doing adulting things.
That should be Dave today.
I know. I need to be Dave today. All right, guys. Julia Grosso. Grosso. Boom. There's my Dave joke for the day. Watch him comment saying, I'm still here. No, our German Dave says, have a good one, boys. I will watch from the beginning now. I'm going to upload just the pregame. Just give me a couple minutes, Dave. I'm going to upload just a pregame segment, and then I'll upload the call segment so you don't have to watch the entire thing over. Make it easier for you because, I'm cool like that. But anyways, guys, time to hit the outro music because it's the outro. But big thanks to John for hopping in for this week's conversation. Again, every Saturday, doing a call-in show where you can come in, talk some thoughts, and also join in the pregame fun as well. So thanks for you guys for joining in, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Just FYI, tomorrow Dave and I will be on the Juventus Twitch channel covering Cremonese Juventus, and then Monday night we will be doing a Talk Juve on Twitch, and then following the week on Wednesday we'll be talking with Monchi's men about the second leg with Sevilla. And I think we might have a day that we've booked our good friend Mina to sit down and do a podcast episode with Mina Rizutski. I totally butchered her last name, so hopefully she doesn't watch Rizuki. There we go. He got me. So if you guys don't know who Mina Rizuki is, look her up. She's really cool. Big Juventina. But we will cover that then. We'll stay tuned to me and Dave making some more announcements of some more stuff that we're going to do. But thanks, everybody. We'll catch you on the next one. Forza Juve.
Forza Juve.
Forza Juve.